Welcome to Midnight Menu Plus One. I'm Ray Kanata.
And I'm Margot Moss. Midnight Menu Plus One is a food lifestyle show on the podcast network itsneworleans.com.
Each week on Midnight Menu Plus One, Margot and I invite a member of New Orleans restaurant and food community to join us, and we invite them to bring along their own guest, a plus one. We never know who their plus one's going to be. Sometimes it's a friend, a neighbor, a family member, or a fellow restaurant colleague. And our special guest on Midnight Menu Plus One tonight, we're very excited, is Kelly of Peacebaker.
And if you're hungry for more Midnight Menu Plus One than we can dish up here, we have all kinds of extra stuff like recipes, guest gossip, sneak peeks into who's coming up next week, and much more on our website, itsneworleans.com. On itsneworleans.com, you can check out our blog, sign up for our newsletter, you can follow us on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. Or you can just Google Midnight Menu Plus One and we come right up. Tonight's show is brought to us by our friends at Magic Box Toys.
And Petite Pet Care. If you need someone to look after your pet while you're at work or school, if your pet would rather stay home than go to a kennel or a doggy daycare, Petite Pet Care has you covered. Loving care when you're not there, petitepetcare.com.
Magic Box Toys have a bunch of very cool and hip stuff, as well as the classics like Lego and Melissa and Doug. You can find them online at magicboxneworleans.com or in real life on Magazine Street near Jefferson Avenue. When you go to Magic Box Toys, you can experience the magic by telling them Ray and Margot sent you from Midnight Menu Plus One and get 10% off everything in the store.
Margot, I can't wait to talk to Kelly of Peacebaker, but before we do that, let's catch up on this week's culinary adventures. You eat anything worth reporting?
I was a little under the weather, so I did not do much eating. So I would like to hear about your culinary adventures this week.
I had some good ones, but I think the most noteworthy was toast. I've been really excited about toast. I live near there. It's in the spot where Laurel Street Bakery is. Hillary was on our show, and it's a great spot in our neighborhood. I love that spot, and I love Cara Benson and Tartine. That's one of my favorite places, so I was really excited to go to Toast. And so I went on Saturday with a couple friends, and all three of us agreed it was phenomenal. And then went back again the next day with my wife. That was the place that she chose for Mother's Day of all places, and she was not disappointed. We had a great time 2 days in a row, and I'm going again actually tomorrow. So there'll be 3 times in 4 days. So I'm not.
What did you eat? What did you try?
I pretty much ate everything on the menu by now. After all, but I had. Let's see. I like the crepes especially. There was like a lemon curd crepe. That was like a dessert crepe, but it was huge and delicious and really tart and great. And then they had these things that I'm avoiding. I was going to avoid mentioning because I'm embarrassed that I don't know how to pronounce it. I'm sure a lot of our listeners do, but it's one of these Dutch things. Maybe you know. It's one of these Dutch things that's like a donut. It's like a pancake, but it looks like a donut, and it's infused with some sweet stuff, and it's called like Skeel or something like that. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I have no clue.
All right, people are laughing at me right now.
Maybe somebody could send us on Facebook a phonetic
Hundreds of
pronunciation.
people will know. They'll know for sure. But I do know it's Dutch, and it was delicious. And you get like 9 of them for $8.50, and they were fantastic.
It's like a beignet shape?
It's like a beignet, but it's infused with stuff, and it's kind of more like a pancake than a beignet in terms of like it's a little easier to chew maybe than a beignet. Like it's kind of fluffy. But yeah, it was fantastic. And then prosciutto and brie, like panini kind of thing. That was just awesome too. Really, really good. Yeah. All right, well, enough of that, Margot. Let's. I'm dying to talk to Kelly. Kelly of Peacebaker. Kelly Boffone of Peacebaker, right?
Yep, that's right.
So good to have you here.
I'm glad to be here.
One of the most unique bakers in the whole New Orleans metro area.
I had to do it. Yeah, we had to be gluten-free, dairy-free, kosher, vegan.
So tell us how you decided to be kosher, vegan, dairy-free. What brought you and to Peacebaker, and how did you come up with the mission behind it?
Pretty much the Peacebaker. I've been baking for about 19.
It's bakery, not baker, right now. I'm sorry.
No, it's
word
baker.
of the day. Word of the day. That's why.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah.
You're right.
Did you just say bakery? Did I say bakery?
No, she said baker, so it didn't count. Keep
It
going.
is. Peacebaker.
No, I know. But we've got to drink every time you say bakery.
We didn't tell you.
I
We
should
didn't
have
tell
named
you.
it the Peace Bakery.
You did it.
Yeah. Drink up.
Drink. We tricked her. Sorry, keep going.
Okay, so basically, I've been baking for about 19 years, and I decided that I would love what I do, but I was kind of soul searching and wanted my God-given talent to be given back to community. So I said, I think I'm going to do a dairy-free bakery, and that was like in the whole like start of it. And I was like, well, if I'm gonna do dairy-free because I have dairy issues, I was like, well, let me just do gluten-free. I'll do gluten-free, dairy-free. And that's kind of how it started. So I feel like I give back to community, my God-given talent, my part, I'm fulfilling my purpose in life with my talent. That's how it started.
And when did you start?
The bakery?
Yeah.
June. We're going to be 2 years next month. So June of 2012, right? That would be true. Yeah.
Now you didn't just wake up one morning and decide to do this. You had some training, right? You were at you actually were in the John Folse school, weren't you, in Nicholls State?
Yes, I graduated with my Bachelor of Science in Culinary Arts, and after that, I worked around New Orleans, Charlie G's, which isn't over here anymore, and a few other bakeries and places, and decided I got a phone call from one of my mentors to teach bacon and pastry and sugar sculpting and chocolate work at Le Cordon Bleu in Minnesota. So he kind of called me and said,
sugar sculpting. Let's slow down for a second. What's sugar sculpting?
well, down here we use isomalt because it's a lot. You see in the hotels, they have all the sugar flowers and swirls and all the, I'm sure on TV you've seen all that stuff. That I did a round of that. We kind of traveled to different states teaching that, me and my mentor. Ken Perry.
Who's your mentor? Okay.
Ken
Perry?
Yeah.
And where is he a mentor from?
Chef John Folse Culinary Institute, yeah. And so he was the...
So is this like sandcastles you're making? Like what is sugar sculpting?
well,
I'm trying to picture
no,
this.
it's you like, boil it down and then you mold it. And you can make ribbons and...
I had like just sugar and oil.
No oil, just sugar and water. But
so
we
it's
use
gluten-free.
isomalt, which is it is gluten-free. Isomalt is like a chemically altered sugar that works better in humidity and...
Can you eat it afterwards?
Yeah, you can eat it.
So it's kind of like when you go to a hotel and they have like the chocolate
The
villages and all that,
centerpieces
right?
and showpieces, yeah.
Wait, I'm sorry to get off the subject, but you've never seen a sculpture made out of sugar?
I didn't know it was sugar. I guess I thought it was something else.
Glass.
Okay.
I probably did.
It does
didn't
look
know.
like glass, right? I mean, it kind of has the
No one ever explained this to me.
translucent...
It is.
I'm a little
It's
slow.
so
People have to
pretty
tell
and-
me things or I miss it.
Yeah,
Wow.
you've seen it. You may have eaten it. but yeah, so it's the whole that was they just right when I was leaving right after Katrina actually, Minnesota, they started the bacon and pastry program at Le Cordon Bleu to do all those.
So you
awesome
went back,
things.
you were invited back to teach at the Cordon Bleu, or you
No.
learned there?
No. Oh, I self-taught. Okay, so
You taught.
Yeah, I taught there, but my baking, when I went to Chef John Folse Culinary Institute, it was the whole realm culinary. So,
Okay.
and I worked when I went to school, I was at Vega Tapas on Metairie Road for the whole time I went to school. So I did the whole thing. I was garde manger. I did the grill, the saute, like all of that. So I wasn't just pastry. I self-taught myself pastry and the fondant work and cake work and all that.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so you feel that that's your God-given talent. It's not like other aspects of cooking was that what you're most passionate
Yeah.
about?
Right.
Okay.
So, and that's where majority of my jobs after school have been in pastry. That's all I wanted to do. I started right after high school. I was like 18, okay? And I saw in the paper, me and my friend, there was a 4 a.m. job at Maurice's French Pastries.
4 a.m.?
4 a.m. And, we were 18, and back then you could drink when you were 18. And so
God.
I was like, this is the job for me. This is awesome because I can go out all night and then go to work and then sleep, all day pretty much. That was like...
Is that kind of a reverse order, though?
Now, what is Maurice's
So wait,
called?
so you're going to make people's
Wait.
pastries while you're drunk? Is that the idea?
Is it
Well,
Maurice's is a famous
bakery.
drink.
Cheers.
Well done, Margot.
So how did that work out for you? Were you able to party all night and work in pastries and sleep all day?
Yeah. And I
long?
I mean, that's the thing. It's like,
But at 4 a.m.
you know,
maybe nobody's
party
watching
hard,
you. You kind
work
of there,
hard.
like, you have a lot of supervision at 4 a.m.?
Well, I mean, I wasn't like sloshed, you know. It was.
Yeah, but 18-year-olds, I mean, 40-year-olds sometimes don't know how to pace themselves. 18-year-olds, no way,
It
right?
just brought out my creativity. And
Are you condoning?
No, not at all.
Okay.
No, I would never want anyone working in the kitchen tipsy or no, of course.
But how did I mean?
But it just happened to be that it worked. It worked out for me.
at 18.
But that's originally why I took the job. And then I was like, oh my goodness, I'm good at this job. So so I didn't then party all night, just half, a little bit.
And did you have bakery experience before?
None.
Did
I had no.
What is his name? at Maurice?
Jean-Luc Albin.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm still great friends with him. Love him. And
International Coffee. Jean-Luc!
I know.
Oh, never mind.
So cheers the coffee women. Yeah, I love that commercial. So
Were your parents alarmed? You're 18, you're getting a 4 a.m. job.
oh
you're
no,
drinking.
they're
were
like,
happy.
she's got a job. This is awesome. She's so good. She leaves early for work. She's got this. This is great. Yeah. So I happened to be like, I started and then I was like really good at it. And within 2 weeks, he's like, oh, Kel, come to they called me Kelly Bebe. And they're like, move to the cake table. How about trying some cakes? Because one of the cake girls didn't show up. And this is how I am. I see something and I can do it. That's just, I have that gift. So I'd watch them all the time because I always wanted to do the cakes. And I was doing the tarts and like putting the little things on the tarts and, I was on the pastry table. And so they were like, try the cake table out. And I did. And he was like, oh my goodness, you've decorated cakes before. And I'm like, I've never decorated cakes before. But I learned so quick. Yeah. So then,
Where'd you get that from? How'd you figure that
Were
out?
you crafty as a kid? Were you artistic or?
A lot of glitter glue in your past or something?
No,
like,
I
what
do.
was
I
it?
have art background too. Like in high school, I did. Yeah, I can draw and paint and all of that good stuff too.
And you grew up here?
I grew up here. Yeah, Metairie. Went to Chappelle, and did the whole. That's the whole like at Chappelle. They had a great art program when I went there. And so I did that. And I knew I always wanted to go into some kind of art direction and always kind of felt like, artsy and that would be my thing. And I always thought if I do something, I always ask myself, if I do something and I didn't get paid, what would I want to do? Like, because to me, if you do something you love, then eventually the money comes and, you're happy, whether the money comes or not. So in general, you're happy. That was my kind of take on it. And I did. And it was good. And I was good at it.
And so what kind of feedback have you gotten from your customers? And tell everyone where you're located and tell us where you're located and your hours.
The bakery is located.
By the way, I'm drinking every time she says bakery. I don't have to say bakery, right?
Yeah. The bakery's located on Veterans, across from Lafreniere Park. So it's right off of the Veterans exit. There's that big Best Buy, and then we're in like the TJ Maxx Tiffin Inn strip mall.
No idea.
It's really easy to get to.
I've been there. It's very easy to get to.
Yeah,
it's
it's
a
right
straight
off
shot.
of the Veterans exit.
Can I walk there from here?
No.
No.
Ray doesn't have a car. So I will.
Oh.
Margot will take me.
Yes, I will. Because I went in when you first, like, it might have been like the first week you opened, because I'll unlike Ray, I mean, he loves to eat and he'll walk anywhere for a great meal, but I will drive. I will get in my car and drive. And I love that Thai restaurant out there, Siamese.
Yeah.
So we were at Siamese and I saw you had just opened, and I brought my son in, and he we had no idea that it was dairy free, and he loved it. And I was very excited, because there's nothing like it in the area. And there's a huge amount of people that have dietary restrictions and are so limited and don't have the ability to bake or to create delicious things like that.
Yeah, it was. I didn't realize when I opened it how many how many people actually I would affect. And when I say affect, like literally, like when Sarah comes on too, like people come in there and I've never heard so many thank yous. And I mean, kids crying because they can have a donut and they just feel normal. You know, I mean, that's all.
Yeah, it's got to be torture to be in a town with all this lush food and you have these allergies and you can't access, like, that would be the most horrible thing.
It
Like being
is.
like a boy in the bubble, like the movies from the 70s, you know, John Travolta thing or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, that's how, you know, it would be, I mean, I don't make light of it. I mean, like, you know, it'd be crushing to be in a food town like this and not be able to avail yourself of the food. So
Yeah.
you open up a whole nother universe to them again.
Exactly.
You know, sort of let them out of the bubble.
And they're just like, oh my goodness. And we make our, you know, our little hand pies that are reminiscent of famous New Orleans little hand pies. And, you know.
Like a meat pie you're talking?
No, they're
a-
like
Cubic?
Cubic pies, yeah. There are cubic pies. But they're baked and they're like between a cubic and a Pop-Tart. They're so good. But it fits the need, you know, or the wanting of someone
comfort
exactly
stuff, yeah,
who's
right.
lived here and then couldn't have that anymore. Or a dough bash cake. We do our take on dough bash cake. We
nice.
do eclairs, you know, we do our take on king cake where it's like, oh, it's not exactly the same, but it's like, oh my goodness, I haven't had this in years. Where like literally they're like,
Well,
this
you
is
mentioned
amazing.
Sarah, and I'm assuming that's who just sat down. So
Sarah.
can you introduce your plus one to us and tell us why you brought her?
This is Sarah Hairston, and she is my everybody knows her at the Peacebaker. She's the famous front girl. She is amazing.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Now, when she says front girl, you work the counter?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Pretty much like the bakers come in like really early in the morning, and then I come in like an hour or so before we open and set up all the pastries and greet the customers and answer all of their questions, because it's a whole new world when people come in, especially if you just got diagnosed as gluten-free.
Oh, wow.
Well, I'm glad you're here because I was asked a question by one of the bakery's fans about how their experience was that even the woman working the cashier was so knowledgeable and welcoming. So it's nice to have you here because obviously it was you, and I'd like to know, besides why Kelly brought you, but in your experience, what brought you to the bakery and drink, yikes, and and what your personal experiences
Margot's not
that
the
would
only
make
one
you
not drinking. He's drinking
that would
so
make you
she can just go
She's
bakery,
the
bakery,
delegator.
bakery. She's got us all drunk.
Keeps all the tallies. So I also needed a job, so when I saw that, I went and applied. Me personally, I'm not affected by gluten, but my grandfather was diagnosed pretty later in life, and so was my aunt, so I knew about
Your
it.
grandfather. So he went like 70 years not knowing.
75 years old.
What did it do to him, not knowing?
So what my understanding was, and I'm like everyone else, thought they were faking it, because it was kind of like out of nowhere, all of a sudden they couldn't eat pizza or anything with wheat in it.
Huh.
And so they say, and the doctors have said, and even talking to some of the customers, when you go through a big traumatic change in your life, a lot of women after they give birth get diagnosed, and a lot of customers have said that. And so when my grandfather we've lived here our whole life, or he did mostly, and then he moved to Georgia, which is where I grew up, to be with us. So the doctors suspect when he moved, it kind of triggered something, and so then he just can't digest it. So when he digests it, he just aches all over, and he's not severe. He does not have celiac. So people have celiac, they're in some pain, and I feel for them. But I wasn't completely aloof of the gluten-free movement, but then it clearly has picked up, and definitely in the South. The South is like the last on the bandwagon, and then Louisiana is the last of the South to get on this bandwagon. But hopefully more places will come gluten-free like Kelly. Kelly's the only dedicated in New Orleans, and it's awesome.
Huh. So you think more people have an allergy to gluten, or just more people know they have an allergy to gluten now, or what do you think it is?
More people now are being diagnosed,
Right.
or taken seriously when they have something. We have and we get information from our customers.
Yeah,
We are like
definitely.
I mean,
Community almost.
Do you have any like personal theories about what's making like, for example, peanut allergies, right? I never met anybody with a peanut allergy till I was like 20. And now lots and lots of kids have peanut allergies, and they're real because, I mean, you got kids who like, I mean, some kids are hypochondriacs, but there's lots and lots of kids out there. I mean, like everybody else, but there's lots and lots of kids out there where, my daughter, you give her a peanut butter sandwich for lunch and she's going to be eating it, and across the room another kid's going to get sick or whatever. So it's, it's profound. Like, it makes me wonder if there's something out there. Do you have any theories about that? I mean, I know you're not a researcher in this, but do you have, you wonder?
I really think that our bodies can't keep up with technology. Wheat, majority of the gluten we talk about is wheat gluten, and they're making wheat, modifying wheat to be harder and better for breads, making breads.
Oh,
and,
so you think the wheat itself has changed?
Yeah, the wheat itself here has changed because we even have customers who can go to different countries and eat their bread.
They went to
their pasta and things like that.
And they're fine.
Because it's
But
not
here-
as processed.
And even
perhaps.
the dairy
Yeah.
too, right?
Exactly.
Exactly.
You're playing into all my paranoid, crazy diatribes that I
It
have
is.
on this stuff.
I don't think our bodies
I'm so glad to hear you say
can
this. I'm
keep
adding
up
this
with
to
technology.
I believe it right away. I don't need any research. I want to believe it, so I have now. All right. Thank you for adding that to my list of things to bitch about.
That's what I think. And it is, of course, it's genetic. So every year there's going to be more and more celiacs literally born into the the United States.
Well, I don't mean to focus just on gluten because I know you guys do a lot of other allergy things too, right? So why don't you talk a little bit about some of those, the dairy and so forth.
We're a dairy free, and we're kosher parv, which is basically we're dairy free, where we don't have any dairy to contaminate any of our equipment at all in our bakery. And
I think you're doing this on purpose now. 'Cause
I'm
you're the
so
first
on
one.
this one, I know. And so
So right now, what did you say about the kosher? I mean, there's I know there's grades of that. For example, my mom's side of the family is Jewish. My cousin, I took him to a kosher bakery once in New Jersey, and he's like, that doesn't count. That's the right rabbi didn't sign the thing. So I mean, I know there's grades of this. So what kind of kosher are you all, or how does that distinguish?
Louisiana kashrut certified for kosher.
That sounds impressive.
So,
You just made that up, didn't you?
No, I really didn't. We have a certificate. We're official. What happened was, one of our customers who would come in and buy things for her coworkers.
Yeah.
Okay. Her husband is a rabbi, and she was like, I bet y'all are probably kosher and don't even know it, or it could easily be kosher.
Have you ever thought about going kosher?
Right.
And we're like, what?
And so I know, and we're like, I'm not sure what that is.
He's a liberal, isn't he?
Which I think is so cool, though, because I'm a Christian-owned and operated kosher bakery, where I'm like, literally, I think
Awesome.
that's the coolest thing, because I'm like, and it's so me, because I'm like, everybody come eat at my table, I love
Very
it.
welcoming.
Yes,
Exactly.
and when you go into the bakery, you'll feel that. Like, you definitely feel that. It's like, bring it, everybody. So, so he came in, and it was about like a 4-month process where we had to change a few items, like our cream cheese wasn't kosher parv, and it was kosher, but it was kosher DE, which is kosher dairy equipment. So it's shared a line of dairy equipment, and then we had to change our coconut milk, our coconut beverage, which also was a Coke.
How does that impact? They had no coconuts in Palestine. That's ridiculous. Where does that come from?
I don't even know.
They're making this
Does a
crap up.
rabbi
They keep-
wave a curl over the...
Yeah, right. These rabbis are making jobs for themselves. There's no way.
The crazy thing is that
I never read about a coconut in the Old Testament.
Me either. But this same brand of rice milk was kosher parv. So it was odd. Like, they must have used a different. This was just me thinking, like, that they manufacture different things in a different facility. Anyway, go off on that. But so
You lost me there somewhere, but that sounds interesting.
I know. But anyway, so we changed a few things, and we were able to be kosher parv. And in August, we did the whole commitment ceremony.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and did.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah, it's
You have pictures of that on your website?
We do. I don't know if they're
We
on
do
our website.
on our Facebook.
Our
Oh,
Facebook
cool.
is the Bomb Diggity. The website is still in. We're still working on the website, so Facebook is like the best way.
Go-to.
Yeah, go to Facebook. Our Facebook we can keep
Pretty
up with
active
all the
every
time.
day.
We have in 2 years we have 3,000 fans
Awesome.
and from everywhere. I mean, it is amazing.
Yeah, we used to keep a book of where are you from, and people would come in, and I think a span of 2 weeks, we had someone come in from Oregon, Alaska, someone from the Philippines, another one from the UK somewhere, and you can tell that there's just a big need.
You ever get
for
tourists? Do tourists like come in
all the time?
So
We're
tourists
a
will go.
destination place.
That's so weird because
That's why we started the
And
You
we're
book.
can't
not
take the
even in New
streetcar to
Orleans.
Metairie. Yeah, right.
But that's
They cab it.
so that
They do.
leads to my next question. Have you thought about expanding into the
Yes.
city or
Somewhere I can walk
outside
to?
of New Orleans?
Yes, we want to. That's in the game plan of, the coming years of the Peacebaker. Yeah.
And I also I had read that you are very generous. Like you pick a charity. Tell us about that. What is that? in your
Every
business?
month we do tip votes or tips. Our tips go to a different charity or fundraiser every month. And that's what our way of giving back. And we actually raise a lot of tips in a month for, we've done everything from Humane Society to the SPCA to
Allergy awareness,
gluten-free
awareness,
celiac association, eating disorders, body acceptance. We've done
rebuilding.
rebuilding. It's like the rebuilding New Orleans. We just
Rebuilding
did that
together?
one.
No.
It's
Not
like
rebuilding
they
together.
help like elderly people rebuild their houses and things like that. We've done a lot of them. So every month we pick
Vegan.
a different one.
Wait, we had a special request for a question for you all. So Kelly or Sarah, you can answer this. Dr. Gourmet was one of our guests recently, professor at Tulane, and he wants to know if there's a gluten-free orzo out there. He needs that for his research somewhere. You guys would know.
There is a gluten-free orzo.
Do you have it?
I don't have it.
Can you tell them where to get
The
it?
company is, I think I'm spelling this right. I hope I'm spelling this right. It's D'_ALLEGO. And it's a really good one. It's a corn and brown rice orzo pasta, but it's good. It's really good.
All right.
Excellent. Okay.
So there is an orzo pasta out there. We don't have it. We have
Alright.
a few things. We have like our little things that we don't make, that we buy.
Right.
We call them the best of the best. Like Peacebaker loves these items where we test them.
It's like our
and
favorite brands.
It's our favorite
Gutino,
brands. Yeah.
Knick.
And
Enjoy
wait,
life.
you test them and then you post about them, or you have something in your.
We have them in our store to buy. So right,
You went to a bunch of conventions.
I
and
did. I
tried-
went and
all the
tried
breads.
all of the breads, all of the pastas, all of.
Where are
these
these
things.
conventions?
They're all over.
Like-
It's gluten. It's like gluten-free allergy expos, and
Like in Louisiana?
no, there was one this year and last
They're all in
year.
Portland, aren't they?
They're they're in like
There's a nice size
in
one
New
in
Jersey.
Houston.
There's a big one in Houston. They're in Dallas. There, North Carolina was one. San Francisco. It's gluten-free allergy expo, and if you Google that, then a bunch of them will come up. Chicago was one of them.
All right.
But so I got to taste like all these different things, and I'm not gluten-free. I just have dairy issues. So I know what gluten items should taste like. And these are items that I feel resemble almost perfectly gluten-free bread, gluten-free pasta, things like that.
They're good.
They're comparable to what you would enjoy.
What I would-
Yes.
Okay.
Because I'm not required to eat gluten free, and I've eaten the bread, and I've eaten the French bread's amazing,
Yeah.
and the pasta. So even my boyfriend, who is reluctant on eating gluten free things, I'll bring it home, and he can't even tell. So it's all in the mindset, and it's
Interesting. Okay.
It's definitely like once you make the decision, and you make the decision to stick with it, it's
Right.
very easy to stick with. You just have to kind of make that mind decision.
Huh.
And find the good stuff.
Right. Well, I mean, like I'll substitute some rice milk or something for regular milk for the pancakes, my wife makes or whatever. And whenever I've done that, I never told the kids, and they never noticed the difference, right? It's identical. There's no difference whatsoever. But is there ever a case where, like, you feel like gluten-free stuff tastes better than something without gluten? I mean,
Or
with
eclairs.
gluten, I mean.
Our eclairs,
Our
I don't like normal eclairs, and I love
They're
her
better
eclairs.
without gluten.
They're better.
Yes.
I love her eclairs. They're
Oh,
amazing.
wow. Okay.
I think it's a combination that we make items fresh daily. Okay, so they're not sitting in the case, first of all. So our eclairs are like crisp and light and delicious and chocolatey because we don't have dairy in our chocolate, but the coconut milk gives this richness of like cream. And our custard in the eclairs is amazing. Our people will come non-gluten, you know, even if they can have
They'll come with their
gluten.
spouses, and eclairs is one of the things that
Always.
always sells
wow.
Yeah, that is
Margot,
a
how
good
do we skip over Emeril through this whole thing?
Yeah, I was just going to ask you.
That's insane.
Is there
What's
some
wrong with us?
point?
We should be fired.
Yeah. Did you work with Emeril Lagasse?
When I came back down here after Katrina from Minnesota, I was executive pastry chef at Emeril's, yeah. And at that time,
that's a big thing to leave off your resume. What are you doing?
Yeah.
You're talking about the 4 a.m. job when you're 18 and wherever, and you leave off like you were executive pastry chef for Emeril's. There are people right now who kill themselves around the country because they never got to be executive pastry chef.
I mean, that is like the
huge.
dream job.
Yeah.
If, like to
How old were
land
you when you
that.
did
I was 4, 5, maybe like, when was Katrina? How long?
2005?
Yeah. So
Yeah, so 9 years ago.
Oh my gosh. Oh geez.
You look like you're like 23.
So you were 12.
So what
Thank
do you, I
you.
mean, really, what?
It's because I'm happy.
All right. Does Emeril have anything? Would you ever bring up gluten-free item in that environment?
Oh, definitely.
And
You know,
was it
that's kind of our
respected?
next thing too. Well, Emeril's daughters just put out their gluten-free book. They're both gluten-free.
Wow.
Yeah, the Lagasse girls.
That's huge.
And they did interview with us, and
They came and got a king cake when we first did king
and
cake
we sent
season.
them
They live
king
locally?
cakes. One of them lives locally. One of them lives somewhere else. But they do have like a list on their website. It's lagassegirls.com or something. Yeah, so they had put out a cookbook. I met them at Veggie Fest, which was just actually
Veggie Fest.
It was last week. It was yesterday and the day before.
How did we miss Veggie
Here.
Fest? Too many fests in this town.
Yeah,
It's like every
and
week in a fest.
big vegan
like
fest.
5 fests. Yeah.
And
Wait, there was a big vegan fest this last weekend?
yeah, Saturday, Sunday at the
if I
Healing
know.
Center.
Oh,
You probably
gee.
could have walked there.
I could walk there, yeah. It'd be,
Aw, man.
well, that's Bywater, right? Yeah, pretty much.
You've walked there before.
I've walked to the Bywater before a lot, yeah, but I could walk there, yeah.
So, well, you missed it though. But
Next year.
but this week,
It's a half marathon when I walk to the Bywater and back when I walk to Satsuma.
this week is NOLA Veg Out Week. So our special this week.
This is Veg Out Week?
This week is Veg Out Week. Not only like Allergy Awareness Week, but it's also NOLA Veg Out Week. They're doing a whole like Green 360 plan, the vegan community, to try and make sure people know all the actual vegan items that are open to everyone and options for New Orleans
Do
here.
vegans not go on the internet? Is that the
Oh, they're all over the internet.
Why have I not seen
And will
this?
you tell us a little bit about Allergy Awareness Week and how you participate?
So for Allergy Awareness Week, I think every week for us is Allergy Awareness Week. Honestly, it is. We live
It's
it
just
like
called the week.
Yeah, it's a week for
Normal
us.
day at the
but
office.
to bring
called Tuesday.
awareness to like a lot of people. You're the person who we have to go eat with Amy, but we got to pick a certain place and this and that. They're like the pain in the ass that you go eat with. And for us, it's like that's all of our customers. We're like, oh yeah, bring it. Come on, bring it. We love it. We want
we
all
understand your dietary
Exactly,
restrictions.
and
You don't
we're-
have to worry.
of it. Right, where it's like, ask the questions. Our kitchen is open. Come see the kitchen. Don't worry about it. You're not, oh, but what if it has this and this? Can you change it to rice milk instead of coconut? And I mean, we really try really hard to accommodate most
All
all allergies. Yeah.
There are a few we can't.
There's a few and far between that we cannot
certain
do,
items.
where we're like, oh, I'm so
Have
sorry.
you gotten just like somebody has like every allergy they have known to man, and you just cannot satisfy them?
They bring in the
Lists.
list from the doctor.
It's
yeah.
like I can't have air.
It-
No water, I'm
it
allergic to
is.
water.
I mean, I can't believe some of it, like chocolate.
Oh, yeah, I feel bad
Coconut's
for
one that we really can't accommodate coconut if it's like, but we've rarely had a coconut allergy or
We can do
anaphylactic
rice- yeah.
coconut allergy. I think we've had one in 2 years, which is really rare. Most people aren't allergic to coconut, even though it's now categorized as a tree nut. It's not
Which is the hard
prevalent.
thing.
Yeah, because we use a lot of coconut substitute for our dairy.
Oh, we have gotten off the menu. There's a point in our show where we have to ask you each a question that you would not be asked on a application for Emeril restaurant. But before we do that, we would like to thank our sponsors. We'd like to thank Petite Pet Care for the support of Midnight Menu Plus One. The folks at Petite Pet Care understand that when you're at work or school or the bakery, drink, and some pets are fine going to the kennel or doggy daycare, but others prefer the comfort of their own home. If you need someone to give your pet loving when you're not there, Petite Pet Care are insured, bonded, Red Cross Pet CPR, and first aid certified, but most importantly, they love your animals. You can find Petite Pet Care at their website, petitepetcare.com, or call them at 504-3009-PET. And before we go to the question, and I know Ray has to thank another sponsor, but do you have any pet, for our Petite Pet Care fans, do you have any pet allergy items?
We make gluten-free pet treats.
Oh, we do. We do Bow Wow bites.
Wait,
there are cats and
Yes,
guinea
that
pigs
cannot have
and
gluten.
ferrets that can't have gluten.
Yes.
is.
Or that are,
Have
you
to
know,
have a
our vegan
raw-
customers like their dogs usually to have a
Oh,
vegan menu.
yeah, I've met-
also.
oh, yeah.
But yeah, we have some people can't even have gluten in the house. So their dog food, their dog
so the
treats.
human
It's the
owners
human
would get.
aspect.
Right. Yeah.
No, I have
But
had a
they do
customer
have-
that had their dog and had it tested. They couldn't have.
Yeah,
That's
any
when you know they're
gluten.
crazy, right?
And I was
I'm
like,
just kidding. Wow.
yeah, that was. Luckily, we had the treats that week too, so I was like, perfect
Bow Wow bites.
timing.
We got to bring those
Yeah, it's
back.
a fine line between victim and crazy, I think. You know, some of this, but-
I love them all.
Okay, yeah. Thanks also to our friends at Magic Box Toys. It's a toy store for everybody. And let me say, I have not been to Toys R Us. Well, I shouldn't say any chain names. Any of the big box chains. I haven't been to any of those in years. Why would you do that when you have local toy stores like this? Magic Box Toys. I wouldn't want to shop anywhere else for my toys. If I was to buy toys for people, it would be at Magic Box Toys. But no, I mean, I have been there a lot. I like it. Everything from infants to grandparents. You can find them online at magicboxneworleans.com, where there's details about in-store events like free rainbow loom classes. You can find Magic Box Toys on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter, on Pinterest. If you go visit Magic Box Toys on Magazine Street Uptown, it's near Jefferson Avenue. Tell them that Ray and Margot sent you, and if you do that, you're going to get 10% off on the store. That's 10% off. That means if you spend $1,000 there, you're going to get $100 off. That's a lot you can do with that. That offer is good right now through the end of May. So drop into Magic Box. That's May 2014. So you can drop into Magic Box Toys and experience the magic for yourself. I'm all about the local, and I just think they're the best.
Yes, and after you pick up your dog from Petite Pet Care, feed him a Bow Wow treat from the bakery, drink, Peacebaker. You can head on over and grab your toys for the kids. Think of all the family.
Yep.
You can go on over to
It's a hop,
Monkey
skip,
Hill
and a
Bar.
jump from there. Yeah, it's really not far at all.
Yeah, because there's a happy hour every weekday from 3 to 8 p.m. $3.50 well drinks and $1 off beer, wine, and signature cocktails at Monkey Hill Bar.
That's a great deal.
All right, so okay. As promised, we're going off the menu with our special guest, Sarah. I'm sorry, you are special, but you're the plus one, Sarah. And our special guest, Kelly Boffone. So, Kelly, if you had to only eat one of these items for the rest of your life, which would it be? Red beans and rice, or a malted milk balls because you're allergic to milk. Which would you rather eat? And I'm sure Emeril would never ask you that.
I don't like either one, actually.
Well, if
That's
you
a
had to
hard
choose
one. That's a hard one. I guess I'd eat red beans and rice.
Oh, why don't you like red beans and rice? I don't like red beans and rice
it's
either.
Crazy.
And I grew up here,
I don't
but-
eat gumbo either or jambalaya.
jambalaya too.
I
didn't
know.
you did.
Yeah.
That's a symptom of growing up here. I think some people burn out on it. I think.
I
Did
don't
you have too much when
know.
you were a kid?
I love white beans though.
Oh, they're great. I like them
do.
better than red beans too.
Me too. Mm-hmm.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
Did you always dislike those things, or did your
Yeah.
family
No,
like?
I know my mom makes
wear
them
you out
great.
of it?
I mean, that's what I hear. They're like the best. They're awesome. But I just don't. I don't know. You know, I'm not a big white rice person either. I like flavored rice.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, Sarah.
But I would not pick the malted milk balls. I'll do the red beans.
You'd rather be sick psychologically than
Yes,
sick physically.
exactly,
Okay.
right.
Got it.
She wouldn't last long on the malted milk balls. I don't think any of us would.
No.
Yeah, but especially, oh my gosh. All right, Sarah, if you could have one person to have over at the bakery to give a tour and to eat with, who would it be? One person on the planet,
That's a good
still alive.
Alive?
Yeah.
Ooh. Oh, that is a good one.
They have to be alive. All right.
I think so. Yeah.
All right.
We want this to be realistic.
They're
Because
listening
this
and they
is
call us and they
so-
come on over.
That'd be awesome.
Ooh, I don't know. I think the only person right now that's popping in my mind is Jimmy Fallon because I'm
Jimmy
on,
Fallon.
and I say this, I'm going on a huge, like they have these lip sync wars. And so I have watched so many of him and a celebrity. They have these like battle lip sync, and the most recent that I watched was Emma Stone, and I'm obsessed with it. So he's popping in my head. But if I'm gonna do dead, I'm gonna do Louis Armstrong because
Louis Armstrong.
when I get sick and lose my voice, everyone says I am Louis Armstrong. So whenever we play his music in the bakery, everyone's like, Sarah, you're singing, you're on. So I went ahead and added the dead one.
That'd
Nice.
be a good one.
That is awesome.
I
I want to be there if that happens.
I know.
Invite me, okay?
Kelly, do you have someone because I kind of threw you under the bus with that question. So do you want to answer that too? Who would you be honored to have at the bakery? Drink, sorry.
I'm so out of my drink. I've not bakeried it up. That's a hard one. I like hers. Jimmy Fallon's a nice one.
Oh, come on. You got to have your own.
Okay, let me tell you. I'm obsessed with Rob Thomas.
Rob Thomas. Oh,
Matchbox
wait.
20.
Yeah.
He's just. I would just want him there just to.
Okay, the
Look
ladies
at
in the
witness
background
him.
are fanning
I
themselves. I do
know.
not know who
Like,
that is. I
serious-
think I'm going to
I
have to
remember
look him
some
up.
video.
I mean,
Didn't he guest in like a Santana video or something? That's
Yeah,
somebody different. Is that the same guy?
No, same,
Okay, that's
yeah.
the guy. Okay.
So I would have to say him. That's the first person that like comes to mind.
All right.
Yeah, but I am obsessed with Frozen lately. So
Frozen.
if the characters
Oh, the movie.
were,
the movie
Snowman,
I
Frozen.
thought that was like a
Snowman
rapper.
from Frozen
Frozen.
could come.
yeah,
That would be
Snowman
great.
from Frozen. I would love that. That'd be awesome.
All right.
Oh my gosh. Well, I want to hear a little bit more. So y'all met
At the
by
bakery.
applying for the job.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
ever
Yes,
hang out
ma'am.
to-
Holy shit.
She's awesome, huh?
Ma'am.
I was
I
waiting
see
for the
why
first
you're
curse
great
word.
with the
I
customers.
tell you, the customer
But-
service, our reviews on customer service are amazing because Sarah is like,
My mom branded that.
So you guys hang out
manners
outside the
into my
bakery ever?
subconscious.
you know, we always say we're gonna, but we never do. But we're I would say we're good friends. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, it definitely started out as like her as my boss, and then it just the more I've been working there over a year now, and just naturally you learn just to talk to each other, and just she's very wise and helps me along with my coming of young adulthood complications in life with relationships.
Whoa,
And
what
she's
kind
a
of
great-
complications? Tell us more.
No,
Tell us
no.
more.
Great at it. I
Please.
don't know if you know this, but Ray has another career besides this.
What do you do?
I'm a pastor. Yeah, I talk to people about relationships all the time.
Oh, are you
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Where?
Redeemer Presbyterian Church on St. Charles and Broadway.
And
Yeah.
I just think I know everything. I have no credentials, so I'm great with relationship help.
So yeah.
So tell us,
like-
come on.
Yeah, me too.
You're
Oh,
among
she
friends.
Always
Yes.
says I should write a blog.
She should write
So
a
I'm like-
blog. Oh my gosh, it's
You've helped her
hilarious.
out a lot.
She's definitely.
Do you like her boyfriend?
I do.
Is
I
he
do.
okay?
He's
Yeah,
a
I
good
have
guy.
I have
Why
a
did
great
you just wink when you said that? You know, he's listening.
Because he
No, I'm
just,
just
I
kidding.
know. No,
She didn't wink.
he's
She didn't
great.
wink.
He's so great. just the other day, he comes into the bakery and he's got lilies in his hand, okay? And he's like, is Sarah here? Is Sarah here? And I'm like, Sarah's not working today. And he's like, oh, I forgot. She's at school. She's at school. And I said, what's the deal? You got flowers. And it was so sweet.
Kelly thought she like missed my birthday.
I know. I was like, what happened? Did I miss her birthday? Tell me. And he's like, no, I said something I shouldn't have last night. And he
Aw.
brought flowers he was
Holy cow.
searching her down. It was the cutest thing.
How amazing.
And I'm like, I love him.
He brings flowers just because
Well,
you called him out on something?
Well, I did call him out on something.
Were the police involved? Was this
No.
What did he say?
I really...
Any felonies?
It wasn't really anything big, but I was just like...
Property damage?
It was
I
just,
think we just got into like a petty fight, and then just the next day I'm at school all day, and I'm either at school all day or at work, and he just thought I was at work. But I think it has to do with like there's been times that I've gone to Kelly and be like, oh, Kelly's boys gets her flowers and da-da. So I think he wanted to like step it up too. So that's what I'm saying. Kelly's a big part of Kelly's a big part of our life.
Kelly. He knew you were at school. He wanted
I don't
Kelly's
think so.
approval.
No, he doesn't.
So wait, how does Kelly know? Is that Kelly? Is that your boyfriend or husband calling you now?
Was that a Rob Thomas song?
No, it wasn't. Oh, I do like him though.
Do you have men bringing you flowers, and that's what you were using that as?
I've said that story before, which is why I think he did. But it just shows that I don't know. Kelly's a big part of my life, and he knows that, and so.
It was great though.
I love that he brought it to work. I did like how he brought it to work.
Oh, I thought it was awesome.
It's kind of insensitive of him, though, right? With the pollen allergies and stuff, and people coming in. Come on.
It was so pretty, but he came in like Prince Charming. I'm like, oh, he's like going to get on his horse outside. It was so cute. It was so cute. I called Sarah later that night.
He was on a horse?
Like, well, I mean, that's how I imagined it, but it was so cute because I was like, did Josh get to you today? You know. She's like, yeah.
I just started laughing.
I loved it. Yeah, because I'm all like, oh my gosh, what is it? What happened? Did she graduate? It was her birthday. What is it? I don't know. Did I miss something? And he's like, well, no, I just know. You know, I said something I shouldn't have. So I was like, awesome.
I just bailed out on it.
It was very smart of him.
Okay.
Very smart man move.
Nice.
So it's really sounds like a wonderful environment in the Peacebaker, and I want to know, is there any family members involved or other friends in your business?
My mom and dad help us out a lot. My dad is actually our delivery driver.
Oh!
And he delivers our wholesale accounts, and he also, you know, we deliver to anyone, anywhere. All you have to do is email us. So we deliver local.
So I can get like one eclair? No.
Well,
there's a minimum order.
You can get a one eclair, but
If you're
then you
gonna
have to
pay
pay
the
the delivery
delivery
charge.
What's the delivery charge for one eclair?
It's depending on where it is, it's from like $15 to $25, depending on where.
That's an expensive eclair.
you
Yeah,
are.
I need to get two.
Probably.
But like to New Orleans?
Yeah, we deliver to New Orleans all the time. Majority of people who get deliveries are tourists who come in and they're staying in the hotels.
Yeah.
And they'll come and get a big batch of
Box of-
stuff. Yeah, and then we deliver it to them.
that's
So we
smart.
deliver everywhere, and we ship
We ship. That's a big
everywhere,
thing.
all over the U.S.
Because we have tens of thousands of listeners, and most of them around the country. They can't get there all the time until they come visit. So that would be good.
Someone
for them
could go to your Facebook page or go to your
The email, the Peacebaker at yahoo.com, and ask about shipping and delivery. Yeah, and we're
and
on
your
that.
dad will fly them
Pretty much, he will.
to Minnesota. All right.
So what's we're running out of time, but I want, unfortunately, but
I'm loving this.
I would like to know. I'm a little have a little bit of a rock brain about this. So what is some of the best advice Kelly has given you besides getting?
It's gonna sound, you do you. It is probably the best advice ever, because just either cutting toxic friends out of my life or figuring out what I want to do with my life that has come to term, like figuring out my goals and my career dreams. She's just always been like, you stay true to you, and you make sure that you are happy, and you make sure that you do things that you want to do. And I definitely admire that, because she has done that for herself, and she's come so far, and she's going to go even further and further. And so it's just, I look up to that, and it's nice.
That's
Aw.
wonderful.
I think we're out of time, Margot, unfortunately. The
What-
red light is flashing.
The producer
Gran
is
is throwing a conniption right now. we gotta wrap it up.
We know that y'all's time is very precious, because obviously you keep strange hours in a bakery, and you'd have to drink if y'all still had. But
You have to get up early.
yeah, obviously it's a lot of work, and so we really appreciate y'all taking the time out to join us.
Thank you. This is wonderful.
I totally enjoyed it.
Thank you so much
Thank
for
you
having us.
for having us.
Thanks for coming. Now tell us one more time your hours, website address. I guess Facebook is what you want to talk about. But
Yeah, Facebook. Look up the Peacebaker on Facebook. It's facebook.com/the Peacebaker, and that's where we post our menu every day. And since we did this little show with y'all, once it comes out, if anyone mentions Margot and
Ray. Oh, I'm so
Rob Thomas
crushed.
is on her mind.
Rob
That's
Thomas
why.
is on my mind. Yeah, you kind of resemble him, but
Oh, don't try that. No one believes you.
so yeah, if you mention Margot and Ray, then you get a free cookie. So
Nice.
Yes.
come on in here.
All
and
right.
do our thing. Tuesday through Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and we're closed Sunday, Mondays.
And your address.
6601 Veterans Boulevard, Suite 1, Metairie.
All right. Our special guest tonight on Midnight Menu Plus One was Kelly Boffone of Peacebaker, and Kelly's Plus One was Sarah Hairston. Hairston, sorry. You can find out more about Peacebaker by following the links on our site, itsneworleans.com. Midnight Menu Plus One is produced by Grant Morris, Margot Moss, and me, Ray Canada. Our technical producer is Chris Keogh, and our director of everything else is Mary Ross.
Thanks to our sponsors who made tonight's show possible. Petite Pet Care for loving care when you're not there. PetitePetCare.com. Magic Box Toys. Experience the magic at Magic Box Toys on Magazine Street. Tell them you're a Midnight Menu Plus One listener, and they'll give you 10% off on your purchase.
Now, hey, if you'd like to be a sponsor of Midnight Menu Plus One, get in touch with us at our website, itsneworleans.com, or just email us at sales@itsneworleans.com.
And if you'd like to be a guest or suggest a guest for Midnight Menu Plus One, you can do that on our website too. You can find photos from tonight's show, check out our blog, and all sorts of other great stuff on itsneworleans.com, including our other shows. Out to Lunch, Happy Hour, Vietnola, True to the Game, and Mindset.
And you can connect with me and Margot anytime by following Midnight Menu Plus One on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram.
The awesome audio quality of this show is brought to us by Chris Kehoe's Magic and PreSonus Audio. More information about all the wonderful sound recording equipment PreSonus makes is at presonus.com. PRESONUS.com.
Midnight Menu Plus One is a production of INO Broadcasting for itsneworleans.com. For all of us here at Midnight Menu Plus One, thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here next week around New Orleans Podcast Dining Table. Till then, I'm Ray Canada.
And I'm Margot Moss. Good night.
You know Labor Day signals the unofficial end of summer, but not the end of your outdoor projects. Lowe's helps you do it right and helps you save with Labor Day deals throughout the store. Shop now and get 2 bags of Stay Green potting mix for $12. And keep your lawn looking neat and trim with a Craftsman 2-cycle 17-inch gas string trimmer, now $20 off at just $119. Whatever's still on your to-do list this Labor Day, do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. Offers valid through 8/28. Soil offer excludes Alaska and Hawaii. U.S. only.